Welcome to the Hunch Voice. My name is Emma, a growth marketer here at Hunch, and today the Hunch Voice speaks up about localizing different languages to scale up your sales in multiple markets. And I'll show you how to do that in 4 easy steps using Hunch. For those of you who don't know us, Hunch is a meta business partner, and we're heavily involved in the space of creating enhancement of basically everything you do on paid social. Last time we discussed that grabbing attention using the native language of your audience yields better results and ensures your offers and messages are well received. But that's not an easy job. It's very money, time, and resource consuming. Yet again, you may ask, how do you create thousands of different language localized campaigns without burning through so many designer hours every day? And now comes the battle between what you should do and what you can do. If it's so effective, then why do so many retail companies still skip language localization? And the short answer is because it's a huge job. Not to mention it's very expensive and quite often hard to carry out. Imagine an expensive designer sitting all day and copy-pasting different language copies into images, and then onto videos. How can this designer be? Could he be happy? Not so much. And naturally, teams give up on multi-language campaigns. But in essence, although it requires a huge amount of time, language localization can bring great results. Also, it means your Facebook personalized ads become even more personal, and more importantly, people will understand them. Marketers typically approach multi-language Facebook campaigns in 2 ways: by avoiding language localization altogether, then facing poor performance, and by creating the illusion of localized language campaigns by changing one main creative that gives suboptimal performance. So what's the best solution for this problem? Have a look at this quick example. Say you have 50 retail stores and 20 products, and you want to target 3 different markets. If you craft one creative for each product inside of each store and in 3 different languages, that amounts to over 3,000 different creatives. So how do you create those 3,000 different creatives at scale without wasting a considerable amount of money and time? Yes, it is possible to create such a campaign in no time. And let's take a look at our time-saving and systemized process that will organize and streamline all your future Facebook campaigns. And now on to Hunch to show you how to contextualize creatives based on language localization in a few steps. In order to run a localized campaign on Hunch, instead of launching individual locations and ad sets on Facebook, which would take a huge amount of time, you prepare a sheet beforehand, which you can use for campaign and for creative. For campaign, we'll use locations and language for targeting, and for creative, different creative copy for each location, so we can have multiple versions of our creatives. This feed is not necessarily bound to location, but enables us to make creatives targeting specific locations. First, your sheet needs to be published to the web in order to have a live link to the feed. Now, to connect your feed to Hunch, you have to create a product catalog. A product catalog means that your data stays dynamic. So if you change something in your feed, it's going to reflect on your catalog in Hunch. When the catalog is synced and ready, we can create filters. Since we're targeting locations in Belgium with this feed, which is a multi-language country, the creatives we'll create will have different copies in different languages depending on the city. So it's either French or Flemish, therefore we'll create 2 filters. The main data we'll be using from the feed is, of course, language. Then we save the filter and off we go to the Hunch Creative Studio to create some templates. The studio lets you combine design elements with dynamic data. We can use the image URL as a background for our creative. This specific background is static, so it will be the same for all creatives. And on top of that, we'll add a dynamic location layer. The dynamic layer is coming from the feed, and as you can see, there are multiple versions of this copy in the layer depending on the location. This means that we've created one template which can output thousands of creative versions. Now on to campaigns. Dynamic ad set allows us to use feed values, so we can actually create multiple ad sets from the feed. And we want to show dynamic cities, so we'll use dynamic zip codes as well. You're looking to target your audience based on language. So here we choose one of our previously made filters. And now comes the part where we create the actual creative ad. Assign a language filter you want to use. Fill in the needed fields with the feed values. The image is showing the template thumbnail because it's not rendering each version. And once we launch the campaign, it'll render all the versions. And voila, here's a preview of our ad. You can see that this is actually going to create 39 different ads across all 3 different locations. And when you're ready, hit send to Facebook and your campaign will be launched. So as you can see, we created a campaign template. It's not actually the complete campaign, but a model of what the campaign will look like. The same way we designed the template, it's going to render multiple different versions of the ads, which will be live once we launch the campaign. And this campaign is language localized, since we wanted to show different versions of ads in French and Flemish. And each creative is showing a certain city or neighborhood to which it's targeted and showing its designated ads. Take Brussels, for example. That location will show 2 different ads. One will be shown to French speakers and another to Flemish speakers. So essentially, if you want to target multiple locations simultaneously, this process is going to save you hundreds of hours per campaign. And as you can see, with almost the same effort, money, and time invested, you're able to create 2 different types of campaigns. So you can choose creating one single creative targeting all the markets at once. With this solution, you'll hardly be able to make any dramatic progress. And alternatively, you can invest the same amount of money and energy and create thousands of different creatives and campaigns at once. This way, you're using the full potential of Facebook ads and converting more people. Thanks for staying with me. Hope this was valuable, and then now you understand why speaking local and social is the best strategy to scale up your sales on multiple markets. Hunch allows you to create thousands of versions of the same campaign with different product images for different retail store locations, and most importantly, in different languages. If you want to automatically create thousands of creatives at once and target multiple markets with personalized offers, you can schedule a Hunch demo. And make sure to subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for more content. Also follow us on LinkedIn and subscribe to our weekly newsletter for more new content every week. Bye!